We actually have a question from one of our fans for you, JT, and I wanted to ask you this question we received, from one of our viewers. They said, "I'm a student," and I quote, "I'm a student in my last year, and I'm having a graduation project about finding finance problems and how to solve it." And I'm so confused about picking the problem because I don't have enough experience. Could you please help? Thanks in advance. So,
Right.
so they basically have to find the finance problem and how to solve it. And she's confused about how to go about it. Is there any finance problem off the top of your head you can think that, and a solution for it? You can tell the problem and a solution for it.
Understood. So, a problem that I could think of, and I'm sure many people can relate to this, is you find yourself in an overwhelming amount of debt. You find yourself swamped by debt. You feel like you'll never be able to pay it off based on having student loans, having paid for your car, paid for your paying your mortgage, all of these things, and you feel like you're just in an insurmountable amount of debt.
Hmm.
I would say in a lot of cases, the first step would be identifying what has gotten you into this position. Because a lot of times it's not going to be your student loans, it's not going to be your car payment, your house payment. Many times you're in debt due to a bad habit of some sort. I
Hmm.
have many, many friends and family members who have found themselves in a lot of debt due to a bad habit that they have. And I don't ever want to come across as better than. And I think that this is something that some of the top financial advisors, such as Dave Ramsey, he falls
Hmm.
into a category of making people feel bad for finding themselves in debt. And I don't want to come across that way
I see
as
why
like
you're
I'm
saying
more
it.
intellectual than they are, because
Hmm.
it's so easy to find yourself in that situation and it's so normal. So I want people to first recognize they're in a situation that is normal. It's normal to find yourself in this very difficult predicament.
Hmm.
But first we need to recognize what has gotten us here. Once we do that, the next step is to figure out a solution to stop this habit, whether that is gambling, whether that is spending too much money on alcohol. There's a whole spectrum of different things that would be considered um, bad habits to be spending all of your money on, but it's and all of them are normal. So no one should feel like because I'm in debt, I'm an idiot, or I I'm just not good with money. No, that's not the
Yes,
case. It's just human. You find yourself in these situations
the
because you do
system.
what you feel is comfortable. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
once you identify exactly what's gotten you there and you come up with a plan for how you're going to stop doing it in an unhealthy way, then you can start coming up with a plan to start budgeting. So I would say uh, start to come up with a budget that works for you, and it's a case by case budget. So
Hmm.
I would say you separate some, probably a good portion, to put into your savings account, put in well, primarily, first of all, if you're in a lot of debt, you'll want to pay off at least the minimum payment. You don't want to miss any payments on debt that you have.
Yes.
So you want to
No
at
late
least
fees.
pay your minimum amount of debt, because you don't want your credit score to be ruined, because that's
Absolutely.
very important. So I would say to dedicate at least the minimum payment towards your debt, and then save what you can, put and then you can start deciding what your living expenses should be, how much that you should be spending on food and entertainment, etc. And you'll want to limit that entertainment budget to as little as possible until you feel more comfortable about where you are with debt.
Very well, JT. That's a very great answer. And what I got out
Thank you.
of it is, again, you're welcome. And what I got out of it is, ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to looking inwards. If you're finding, like JT suggested, if you find yourself in debt, look inwards. Track back what caused it to get to that point. And a lot of the times you're gonna see it's going to be the habits that
Absolutely.
we do on the small tiny habits we do on daily basis. It can actually come and become very very big problems over a long term, and that's exactly what I personally got out of your answer. And this is true.
That's
Look
absolutely right.
inwards, track back how you got there. That's so true. And
And a
as
lot of
far,
times you can
yes.
start to resolve a lot of your financial issues once you deal with some of those personal struggles that you're encountering.
Mm-hmm. Very true.